the Stormers often, get traction are in the scrums and in the mauls, and you guys did fantastically there. And I mean, really, and that must be just fill you with pride as well, just the physicality that you guys showed there.
Yeah, obviously, as you can see, I was a back myself. No, we spent a lot of time on set piece, and with Richard Kelly and Duncan Jones, our two coaches. We have two coaches in that area. Young Reese is a product of that. And look, it's very difficult, not just with the Stormers, to be fair, in South African teams that are big and strong. People can piggyback up apart without making passes. So one of the things we spoke about this week was, let's make them play. That obviously brings a different stress elsewhere, but I thought we were very, very good at set pieces and not giving stuff away for free. You're not always going to get it right. And, we had our opportunities up in their red zone, and they had opportunities in our red zone. I thought that people, obviously the front row boys were great. I thought James Ratty was unbelievable, considering how much rugby he's played. Adam Beard coming on, and we knew it was going to probably. Adam Beard coming on. Hugh Sutton's just come back from injury, playing 80 minutes, after having a long period of time out. So they dug deep and found a way, and they're probably a reflection of their attitude, but also, a good plan and good coaching.
It was also obvious that you guys did a lot of homework in terms of what they would do. You were ready for that cross kick. It looked as if you were. it looked as if you were anticipating a lot of things. So clearly, you guys did a very thorough, prep on this one.
Well, I think that we've seen a lot of stuff from the Stormers, in our time here, and good teams don't change their DNA, right? You know that they're gonna offload. You know that they're gonna force it a little bit, and you don't always get that right. Defensively, you've got to have an incredible amount of energy and effort, and that's really, on these guys being emotionally and physically connected to what they're got to do. But the good thing for us is we didn't get spooked by it. I think you can get dragged into playing the game they want to play. You can play as loose. The thing that I'm probably most pleased about from a performance point of view is that we were very disciplined about how we wanted to play the game, and we stuck to it. And as a result, we grew into the game and looked good. And looked a threat, both pressure-wise, on both sides of the ball. So I think that there's a lot of learning for a young team that's had a lot of disruption in it, about how we prepare, but also the discipline it requires to win games against really good opposition.
Congrats.
Toby, there's always a lot of talk about, well, there seems to be a lot of talk, because I read the overseas media quite a bit. People not so sure about. People not so sure about whether South Africa should be in the competition. But you just mentioned winning at altitude against the Lions. I think it was in the Challenge Cup.
January.
Yeah, in January. And you spoke about the altitude next week. You spoke about beating the Stormers like a long way from home. Surely it's actually really, it's good for your rugby, or for the cut for Welsh rugby, that you actually are putting up with, that you're dealing with those challenges, and it appears to be making, well, certainly your team better. And better at
we're big fans of it.
Yeah.
2 weeks away from your wife is absolute dream. Is this live? No, it's she's going to kill me for that. Oh god, it might be 3 weeks now. So it's a great opportunity. It's like, probably Reece might have a different opinion, I hope not. Around, we see the opportunity in everything. This group is resilient. We try and see the opportunity in everything. The opportunity to play against the different, and I'm sure South African teams feel the same as well, learning them as hemisphere. It's been very beneficial to the national team, I'm sure. I mean, they've got the best of both worlds, right? Played international rugby down there and played, their players exposed to Northern Hemisphere rugby, and I think there's a massive benefit for that. Jake's clever like that. But I think that the big thing is, you've got to see the opportunity in everything. So we know that our budgets have gone down, we know our squad numbers have gone down, we know it's going to go down again. But that's an opportunity to get young players through quicker. It's an opportunity to create a group probably in your own moulding, because you have to let contracts unwind and get the people that you want around. This is my 4th season, and contracts take a long time to unwind. But to try and shape a group in how we want to, how these guys want to be involved. It's not just me. It's we try and find a collaborative way. So my long-winded answer, and I apologise, is coming away for a couple of weeks gives us contact time. And I don't mean rugby contact time, I mean people contact time. These guys go out, celebrate with each other, you know, you don't disappear from a training ground. Yes, we have people from different areas, and they're a very tight group because they spend a lot of time with each other, either playing cards, drinking coffee, or both, you know, or taking the mickey out of each other, which is another favourite pastime. But those things create the bonds that you saw tonight. And it's people first. The one thing I've tried to advocate, and I've not got it right all the time, is that we're people first. And if we can remember that, and we can create and foster that part of the game, and these trips allow us not just to get better rugby-wise, is probably my answer, and you get tested in different ways. So adaptability, flexibility, finding out to win against different opposition, on the field, adjusting, is brilliant for that, but it's also brilliant for your group, for people.
Is that where all the resilience come in this group? We could see it on the field, how the belief also grew the longer the match went on. They put their bodies on the line, especially defensively, and then the crowd became very much silent. Is that how that all plays out for you guys?
That probably follows on from that question. It's about coming out to a new experience, playing in new stadiums, against new crowds in different environments. And yeah, the fast start probably helped in silencing what was a very loud crowd at the start. But that's what we spoke about, was, especially in the change room before we went out, was fast start, letting them know we were going to stand in front of them and be there. And then once you silence the crowd, then you can build your way into the game. And I thought we did that really well.
I think the other thing along with that is, if you're going to try and make progress as a team, ultimately it's still going to be about outcomes at some point. And you have to condition yourself to win in different ways, but also in different environments under extreme pressure. We probably weren't good enough last week in the Challenge Cup to do that. But to do it again 7 days later shows that we weren't too far away. And I think every team, you know, very few teams win straight away. Young teams don't win straight away, but you have to work out how to win and what it takes to win. So you need to go through these experiences.
Just looking at this game and the opportunities you guys created, some of them you didn't take. That tells you that for next week. That tells you for next week there's something to build on instead of going to the Bulls or on a high and you don't see something that you maybe could have improved on.
Yeah, I mean, from a coach's point of view, you know, we're always working half a week in front, so we've already done the Bulls prep. We know what we're doing next week. These guys don't, you know, want to enjoy the moment. So you're always working half a week at sync, right? So we know what we need to do. Now we have to make sure that we're in the best physical and mental position to be able to do that. But come Monday, this game will be ancient history. And they know that because I talk about it all the time, and they live it all the time. Because whether you win or lose, all that matters is what comes next. And part of I talked about respecting was seeking opportunity in winning, seeking opportunity in losing. And the opportunity we've created ourselves is we had 5 games left at the start of the day, now we've got 4, we've got 5 points from that, so we've still got a chance. So we'll be looking at the next thing.
Reece, the Stormers have 2 very experienced props in Captain Frans van Herbe and Brock Harris, who's probably one of the most experienced players in the competition. You played directly against him. What was that experience like for you?
Yeah, it was really good. From a learning experience, obviously Brock's played a lot of rugby, obviously overseas in the UK as well, and also here, and we knew it was going to be a real tough task. You know, we did a lot of prep in the week, a lot of review, and you know, it's one of those experiences going back to having the South African teams in the competition. It's playing against different props who've been coached differently, who offer slightly different things. So it was a real good experience, and can learn from that now and hopefully build on that performance, as well as going against other loose heads in the season gone by as well.
Just Coach, you spoke about the environments. Do you think the conditions played in your hands tonight? Because it's very much like a Northern Hemisphere type of conditions.
That's like summer, right? Swansea's wet a lot, right? You know, it's like an eclipse. 2 days of sun, gone. No, it's I don't think so. I think it was warm. I think the travel still played in it. I think obviously when we saw a little bit of missed around, and obviously been, you know, we've woken up to a little bit. We've not come over at this time for a little while, so that was, you know, was I pleased it wasn't 30 degrees? Yeah, you bet your life I was. But in relation to, you know, I'd imagine the Stormers might have, I obviously wasn't in their press conference, you know, there was a little bit of dew around and whatever, and that makes handling more difficult. So you have to find a way, you know. So there was still a lot of great attacking rugby out there. So I don't think it had a massive limiter on the game itself. I'm sure it was a good game to watch, and from that point of view. So I understand why you asked the question. If it was like that at home a lot, we'd be pretty happy.
And then obviously next week is altitude and hot sun, so that's completely different to this.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. we don't mention the A word.
I mean, talking about that, because if I remember correctly, in that game, you scored 3 tries in the last 10 minutes to win it. I mean,
That's why it's in your head.
That's,
Youngsters don't understand. Youngsters don't care. You see.
but I mean, that was a barrier you went through. Well, you did say it earlier, actually. I mean, I'm asking a question.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, our supporters made a really, they think it's funny, gif of me pointing at the altitude sign after the game, so, which was very embarrassing for me. But I think that, you know, there's certain places that you go, and it, you know, there's a reason they make a sign of it. You know, they're trying to play with your head, and you've got to have that resilience and toughness to understand what's happening and rise above it. Ultimately, it's 80 minutes, same for people. Yeah, and yes, people will talk about playing at altitude and people that are conditioned to it, but we're not. So we just got to get on with it. We'll find a way. That's what we do. And it means probably we have to make substitutions a little bit earlier. We have to be smarter on the substitution plan. We have to be smarter around our recovery at half time. But we find a way. And the fact that we've done it means we're not beaten before we get off the bus.
Thanks all. Cheers.